Okay, I start recording.
That's good. You record, you watch, we watch, we learn, and yeah,
Okay.
time is better than last time, Yeah. Make yourself more like the background more parallel to the line. Otherwise, it looks, the room, yeah, it's better. Yeah, somehow.
Okay.
Yeah. The ceiling lines, you were ceiling line.
Like
Yeah,
this.
try to, it's not comfortable when you look at
Okay.
it. The surface is not parallel to the wall behind you.
Okay.
It make the audience, or you can, show the ceiling less. You don't have to. Yeah. And make it parallel. Do you understand the line?
Yeah.
Yeah, parallel to the screen. Can you change the direction of your camera? Your computer screen.
Yeah.
Parallel to that ceiling line. It's more comfortable when I see it. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. Like this.
Yes.
I have to put something here.
Are you using laptop or?
Yeah, it's my laptop.
But why it keep turning?
Because I'm turning it. Yeah. Okay, is this good?
That's more comfortable. Or the angle can be, you don't have to show the ceiling. The ceiling is not big too. Yeah, something, it's good. You can raise your laptop a little more, so
how do I do that? Put a book.
A book or something, then it'll be more to a real room to the students. Do you understand?
Okay.
Not like a tune that we are looking at ceiling. That's not, yeah.
Put a book here.
Okay.
Okay. Like this. Sorry.
Can you make your screen more vertical so we are not seeing any ceiling or very little ceiling? Yeah, so it's more like I'm facing you in a real space, not like I'm looking at you from beneath. Do you understand? Yeah.
Okay.
And try to make it parallel a little more to the wall, to the back wall. Yeah. See, if you can tell from the ceiling that line.
Yeah.
Your left corner is more behind. Yeah. It's okay. It's not that critical, but it's better you sit straight like in a room in the front and then people looking at you. Yeah, it's more natural. Otherwise, it's just, if you're just participating like your audience, maybe okay, like me, you don't care. But you are the teacher.
Okay.
You better, you know what I mean, right? You want people to see. If I have to sit in my place, I would better, I had better do this, you know what I mean? Make it more like vertical. So it's like a room. You are looking at me in a room that instead of like this, it's very uncomfortable, or like that, or like this, I'm here like that. You look like from you were looking at me from beneath or looking like that. It's not good. Yeah, just that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but if you're joining somebody else, maybe it's not that crucial. Nobody cares about the students, so many, whatever. But you are the teacher, they are looking at you all the time.
Okay.
And they will feel like disoriented, Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you. Oh, thanks.
Okay.
Cool. Should I make it full screen?
Yeah, it's better to present. Think what would be best effect for you to teach, right?
Okay. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I wanted to delete one thing here.
That's okay. Do
Okay. Okay, I start now. Okay, hi. Today I'm presenting advanced digital photography tips. First, I want to talk about light meters. Light meters are used to measure the brightness of a scene. They can measure the reflected brightness values of a scene. They can see luminance or brightness, and they can be found in modern cameras or separate handheld models. And the handheld meters can have two kinds. One that measures the light on the subject, and one measuring the light reflected off the subject. The proper exposure for a photograph is achieved through a combination of aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. And now I'm talking about metering and matrix metering. Matrix metering is built into many DSLRs. Every modern DSLR has a metering mode, camera metering, exposure metering, or metering. Metering is how your camera determines correct shutter speed and aperture. The most common metering modes in digital cameras today are matrix metering, center weighted metering, and spot metering. What is metering? Metering measures the reflected light and determines the optimal exposure. It is possible to see metering in action with the manual mode, and it works well when the scene is evenly lit, but doesn't work well when there are different light levels and intensities. Oh. As for matrix metering divides the image into zones or sections, taking a separate reading for each zone. Center-weighted metering evaluates the middle area of the image. It places the majority of the metering calculations on the center circle and the rest on what is going on in the rest of the frame. And then spot metering evaluates only the light at the focus point you choose. It is useful to familiarize yourself to the nuances to which the matrix metering on your camera responds to. And most images use matrix metering. To avoid overexposing or underexposing, meter something gray and use that reading for the best exposure. And exposure lock or manual exposure is a helpful tool. As for metering, for backlight, either use flash or exposure compensation. For snow or beach scenes, use exposure compensation. And for night scenes, use a shorter exposure time or choose a smaller aperture. What is exposure lock? Exposure lock is a way to keep the same shutter speed and aperture for the next photo you will take. To activate it, press down the shutter halfway, but not all the way. Then frame your scene as you want it. As for shutter speed and aperture, the shutter speed that shows up on your camera is the one that has a fraction. The aperture that shows up on your camera is the one with an f in front of it, such as f3.8. The shutter speed is the speed that the camera will take the picture. The aperture is the size of the opening in the lens. The smaller the number, the bigger the aperture is. For auto mode and manual mode, the auto mode in the camera is for beginners and it adjusts shutter speed and aperture for you. When you want to try something more advanced, you can change the mode to manual mode. In my camera's guide mode, there is easy operation and advanced operation, and these will give instructions on how to achieve a certain effect. To get the most from your digital exposures, exposure compensation is a great feature. Exposure compensation is when photographers override the exposure settings picked by the camera's light meter. And I was curious if image quality of DSLRs get better and better. This is a question I have had, whether or not the image quality of DSLRs get better and better. And here it compares Nikon D3100 and Nikon D3500. And I guess the resolution got better here. Then there are DSLRs versus mirrorless cameras. There's a debate about whether DSLRs are better or whether mirrorless cameras are better. Mirrorless cameras are cameras that use digital imaging sensor instead of a mirror to reflect what the lens is seeing through the electronic viewfinder. The SLR design was created before digital sensors. The SLR design is when the mirror flips up when you take a picture, and the mirror is used to reflect the image into the viewfinder. They are different in handling and ergonomics. I found a tutorial video for using the Nikon D3100. And here's a video about mirrorless cameras versus DSLRs. And about taking digital photos on your phone, there are apps you can download if you would like to take digital photos on your phone. The apps I have downloaded are Open Camera and Camera FV5. I think with these apps you can change the exposure settings. And here are a few tips about taking digital photos on your phone. capture multiple pictures, learn what your camera can do, stick to the outdoors and natural light when you can, avoid digital zoom, use HDR, and use editing tools. And to get the most from your digital exposures, remember that digital is not film, and overexpose rather than underexpose. And next, learning to interpret the histogram. What is a histogram? A histogram is a graphical representation of the tonal values of your image. It shows the amount of tones of a particular brightness found in the photograph. It also shows other things such as shadow and highlight, clipping, and color channels. And when choosing a file format, remember when saving images to the camera's memory card, you can choose JPEG or RAW format. A RAW file is not really an image file format, and it must be converted to a common image file format. For image size, most cameras have several size settings to choose from. Large or full is usually the largest image size. There is both image size and compression. For compression, the setting that delivers the highest image quality is the lowest compression level. And for output, it goes from capture to monitor to print. Color management is an important aspect, and each monitor and printer display color differently. Also pay attention to ink and print media. And there, for example, there's glossy and matte in terms of print media. And now I will show some of my recent photographs. The name of my series is Paris Streets and Silicon Valley at Daytime. And this is my series called Paris Streets. And it was taken with my digital camera. It's a DSLR camera, and
when was this?
2019, when we went to Europe with our mom.
And Qian.
Yeah.
Did you use different exposure those?
No, I didn't do that.
You were using
Yeah,
automatic.
I just use auto mode.
So you're not wearing the things you were teaching.
Oh yeah, but in my second one, I changed it.
You tried.
Yeah, this one is all auto mode, I think. And this is my more recent series that I changed the exposure settings.
You use the single lens, digital single lens reflex. Yeah.
Yeah.
Camera. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What did you change? Like, for example, the scenery, you use two different
What
settings.
did I change it to, oh, right. I changed it to manual, and then there's like like a adjustment wheel on the camera where you can adjust the, I think it's the aperture. And if you move it to the left, it's brighter, and if you move it to the right, it's darker, I think.
Do you know why?
Uh, not really.
When you do the left, it becomes brighter because the aperture opens bigger.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It need more light in,
Yeah.
but then it reduces resolution.
Oh,
The
really?
depth reduces. If you have small opening, then you need longer exposure time.
Oh,
Yeah, they are couple. If you have bigger opening, you need smaller exposure time. You know that, right?
okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
If,
it's just like a film, but digital are just like a film, but you, as you said, you rather overexpose, then you can catch more, and then you can edit. But for
oh,
film, if you expose too much, everything become white, yeah. So,
oh,
but anyway, but there is a trade-off. So in the film plan or the digital, you need only certain energy to be deposited, right? Okay.
oh,
So if you have bigger opening, more light in, so you need shorter time to get enough exposure, right?
okay.
You have a small opening, you have to keep it for longer time so you get enough exposure.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But if your scenery is moving, like somebody is running, you can't let it last for too long. It will be blurred, right?
Oh,
So you have to open the camera aperture more. You have very brief exposure time. Just catch that running object, right?
okay.
But then you trade off is then you can't see clearly what is in the far scenery,
Oh,
but if you have a stationary, just forest or a mountain view, a field, then you want to see everything in near field or far field. You mean you need a big depth
oh,
in your view, then you would use smaller aperture, but then you have to adjust the exposure time to longer time.
oh,
But
okay.
how much longer? You have to use the light meter in the beginning you introduce.
Uh-huh.
You have to know each thing you are reading, what they do and why you have to do that clearly. And it's better to use a real camera to explain to your students. Otherwise, nobody know what it referred to. Do you understand?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And why smaller aperture can give you bigger, depth of field. All this definition you didn't define in the beginning. Nobody knows what's going on.
Oh,
As you are talking about the terminology.
oh,
Yeah,
let me,
yeah. It's
I,
okay. I can show you another time how you would clarify everything. It has to do with the size of the blurriness. How clear you think is clear. Do you understand? Yeah.
okay.
And then you can talk about if something is the blur size bigger than the critical size, we say it's not clear. That means I can only see from 5 meter to 10 meter clearly means all this object in 10 meter and 5 meter will be exposed such that the spot on the film would be small enough for people to say it's clear, right? Okay.
Oh,
If object closer than 5 meter or farther than 10 meter, they will project an image that has a bigger size of blur on the film, then it become blurred, right? So you
okay.
have to explain all this thing in the beginning. Then you can talk about the function of a smaller aperture, bigger.
Okay.
And sometimes you can choose because the scenery is not changing, but you have object like your scenery, you have a menu here, you have another thing at a very far distance. Then you can keep changing your aperture, see which aperture give you longer depths, shorter depths. You have to show a series of photos to explain that to your students. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's not easy each time you explain something. Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah. How many of the scenery, how many picture photos do you have for the scenery?
Oh, a few.
No,
Um,
same scenery using different exposure
oh,
or
right.
yeah.
Yeah, I included it here, for example.
Yeah. Mhm.
Uh,
What did you change? Okay.
um,
The same scene, different exposure, but which one has what exposure?
yeah.
This is more adequate. The other is underexposed. Means
Uh-huh.
you don't have a light enough, right? Too short of time or too small aperture, right?
Uh-huh.
The other one, yeah, you can't see clearly. So,
Uh-huh.
but this one could be also your hand shaking too.
Uh, yeah.
I don't think it's just the exposure. This
Oh,
is
really?
not stable, you know?
Oh, okay.
Can you see?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's hard to say. It's better you have a array of photos, like several, not just two, and then you write down the number of this is my exposure of what and what you change. Otherwise, how people know what what
Okay.
yeah. This is a lot.
Oh, right. Write down the
Whatever you do, you
yeah.
explain. Okay, and next time you remember what you would get if you use this exposure. But
Oh,
that
right.
depends on the lighting of the day too. You know, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. On my
The same exposure number, but that day is a cloudy day or very shiny or relatively shiny, all different. Yeah.
oh yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, right. I on my phone it was easier to change um the shutter speed and ISO, I think.
Are you using cell phone or
Yeah.
your camera?
Um, both.
Oh, okay.
Well, they're mostly my camera, but
Mhm.
um, yeah, as I said, I downloaded those apps on my phone too, and
Mhm.
then I
You
can
could
just
change the exposure. Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't really know about depth of field
Yeah,
actually.
and also it starts from how camera works. You know,
Oh,
the lens system and how it projects the scenery onto the film plane. You know, all those optics you have to
okay.
learn. And
Okay.
you can explain everything from the bottom. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And why you need a certain exposure to activate whether digital film or a real film, right? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
But anyway, it's good. At
Oh,
least you open this. Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, you can explore more and to learn more yourself.
Uh-huh.
Mhm. Or I can show you next time how it works.
Oh,
I
okay.
teach you. That's
Oh,
fine.
sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, lastly, I made another assignment just to take some photographs and create a series. And series in art is having the same theme that interconnects different works of art.
Mhm.
Um, for example, the name of my series of photographs is Paris streets and Silicon Valley in the daytime.
Yeah, but it's better you say clearly why you change that setting and the effect is what, and artistically what you want to bring to your viewer. And that's why you used certain settings, because
Okay.
yeah,
Oh,
what
okay.
like you instead of just
Uh-huh.
I have my series.
Uh-huh.
What I did is for this effect, so I use
Oh.
certain setting. But
Oh.
otherwise, how how does it connect? How do you judge whether it's good or do you reach your objectives? You know,
Oh.
like
Okay.
Silicon Valley, if I change the exposure, it become blurred except one front object. But that's what I want. I want to focus on this. So viewer will focus all attention to that clear image. Oh, that's a menu. All the rest is not important, but that's what I want. The other one, I have a longer depth of field. So everything's clearly, people can see, oh, what's going on in that little street. And
Uh-huh.
and I needed to reduce aperture diameter so I can see more things clearly
Oh.
you explain why you do that, okay?
Okay.
Or the darker image showed a calm, it's getting late, people are eating there. It's a different effect. If I have a brighter image, it looks like during the days, uptone or something. Otherwise, why do you do?
Okay.
Yes, right? Like Monet, he had impressionism paintings about same scenery, like uh, whatever. There's all morning time or lunchtime or evening time, right? People have
Oh.
different color, the different sensation, and or stormy time, the the whatever the scenery in those, yeah,
Okay.
same objects, same scenery, but different um, time. So he painted differently with different light conditions. It's
Oh.
similar to photograph. It
Okay.
creates different feeling. Otherwise, why do people learn the stuff? Yeah, it's just simply recorded, right? Most people do that, but for an art, as you said, you have to connect that to your emotion, to your purpose of showing something. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Oh, thank you.
that's good.
Okay.
Yeah. So Praktima You said she will be away for 6 weeks, or she will be busy for 6 weeks.
Yeah, I think busy.
Okay. So you're going to wait until she comes back?
Um, um, no, I'm going to try to find other students because she might not attend any. Yeah,
After 6 weeks, she might not continue.
yeah, she said that. Yeah.
Well, you can stop recording. We are just,
Oh,
are you done teaching?
yeah.